find your seats, silence your cell phones, and remain standing for the arrival of the official party, presenting of the colors, the National Anthem, and invocation.
Present the colors.
Colors. Forward, on. Present, on. Colors. Colors turn hard.
Good evening. I'd like to mention first before something prayer. If you're not religious, please don't feel obligated to enjoy the church and have a moment of silence if you see the platform. I'm open to up to it. Lord, we want to thank you for this opportunity to gather in such an abundant place of individuals, and all the supporters that we have, the cheerleaders that are behind us, to come and support these 32 individuals. Without you, it would be nothing. Lord, we use you as our guidance and the tool and the correction when necessary. You guide us and put us in the places that we need to be when we need to be there. We were able to go through this ALS class with you at the forefront. You guided every instructor's move and getting into those conversations that you allowed necessary and to open our minds to gather and learn new information. Lord, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the traveling mercies for the individuals that were able to make it here this evening. Be with the families and loved ones that are not here with us this evening. And Lord, I'm going to go ahead and bless them. Ask that you bless them before we call you food this afternoon. And again, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you continue to do and all the grace and the mercy that you provide us. And Lord, just push your blessing hand over all of us. It's in your name we pray.
Please be seated. Thank you, Senior Airman Davis, for the invitation. Good evening. On behalf of the ALS staff, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's graduation ceremony. I am Staff Sergeant Kareem Ibrahim, Class 20 Foxtrot's Levito Award recipient, and I am proud to be your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's event. Airman Leadership School is the first level of enlisted professional military education for airmen, and sets the foundation for graduates to become non-commissioned officers and supervisors. Thank you for coming to congratulate these students on completing this significant milestone. We would like to begin tonight's ceremony by introducing our distinguished guests. Our host for this evening, the 317th Airlift Wing Commander, Colonel James Young. The 317th Airlift Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Mark Humfleet and his wife, Julie. The 7th Bomb Wing Commander, Colonel Joseph Kramer. The 7th Bomb Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Matthew Coltran and his wife, Renee. The 7th Bomb Wing Honorary Command Chief, Mrs. Judy Farmer, and her husband, Alan. Also seated in our audience are Group Commanders, Squadron Commanders, Chief Master Sergeants, and First Sergeants that are critical to the success of each class. Please join me in saying thank you with a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the student speaker for Class 21 Golf, Senior Airman Dylan Davis.
Good evening. I am Senior Airman Davis with the 7th Bomb Wing Legal Office, and I am here this evening honored to be able to speak for golf for 21 Golf. At first, to all the commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, supervisors, co-workers, friends, family, and loved ones, holy smokes. Thank you for all being here this evening. It means the world to every one of us here. It's fantastic that you all are here to join us. I need to pause for a second. Unfortunately, it sounds like we're having some form of a technical difficulty, or I don't know if it's this kickback from the walls or not. I do not have an accent by any means, so I apologize on the forefront. If you don't understand a word that I'm about to say, so I apologize in advance. But with that out of the way, let's get started. If you had come to me 7 or 8 weeks ago and asked what I thought ALS was going to be like, I would have honestly said it's probably going to be a huge waste of time. It's something that I don't need, and how wrong I would have been. These past 5 weeks have been completely unexpected, to say the least. Starting off on day 1, Blues Inspection Day. Lucky enough for us, there was a base exercise going on that day. There we were, all 32 strangers standing outside in full service dress, and I swear it was at least 100 degrees outside, and it was extremely hot. Then, out of nowhere, an active shooter alarm goes off. And like it wasn't already awkward enough, we all looked at each other. We're like, what the heck do we do now? Well, I will say without a doubt, we were the only people standing outside in full service dress for 30 minutes, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I thought to myself, I hope it only gets better for me. 21 Golf is full of all different walks of life, military backgrounds, such as munitions, weather, command post, dental, service, and many more careers. These 32 strangers that stood outside during that active shooter exercise quickly went from being a diverse group to a supportive team. We all probably had some form of expectations coming into ALS, but speaking for myself, I will honestly be walking away a better airman than I was when we started. We have discussed some pretty heavy topics, and to hear how each person would tackle these situations or to find a way to resolve the problem was beyond my level. This group of 32 in front of you is ready for the next step in their career. They are ready for that NCO title. After this graduation, and when we make it to our squadrons or our offices, I can't promise that we'll be the best supervisors you've ever seen, or that we'll be amazing leaders. But I will confidently say that we are the change that this Air Force needs. We are the next generation of NCOs that's going to take this amazing, diverse Air Force to a higher level. It won't be easy, and we're going to have to hold each other accountable if we truly want to make a difference. And I know that each and every one of these members are ready for that challenge. I was originally going to end with 2 great pieces of advice, but through that I thought there's one more. So first, be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Second, and to my Lancer flight, I highly apologize. You've heard me say this numerous times, but as a leader or a supervisor, everybody needs to know this piece of advice that I've come across. When you become a supervisor or a leader of any kind, know that at the end of the day, you become a topic at that member's dinner table. Whether that topic is good or bad, you ultimately make that choice yourself. And the last point comes from the book of James. It really doesn't matter whether you're religious or not, because it's a great tool for any leader. James 1:19 says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. This last one is extremely tough for me as a leader because I know it's top priority, and people must come first. I believe these 3 items all play a role when leading others. So, know that you're going to fail, and most likely fail big. But lean into that internal fire, that grit in one another. Do your very best to overcome, to recover, and ask for help whenever it's needed. Don't be afraid to follow. Follow isn't a step back for a leader. It's a way to learn how to be a stronger leader. Hold your Air Force core values close, and I promise you'll go far and do big things. You are all the NCOs I'm excited to serve next to and to call brothers and sisters. So, thank you very much to everyone for coming out this evening. I highly appreciate it. The other members that are with me appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening and a fantastic time. Thank you.
Well done, David.
Thank you, Senior Airman Davis. Seated among us and watching virtually is another group of individuals who deserve recognition for their love and support during this course. Will the spouses and family members of Class 21 Golf please rise and be recognized with a well-deserved round of applause? Yeah. Tonight, 32 airmen will graduate Airman Leadership School and prove they are ready for greater challenges and increased responsibilities. Please help me congratulate ALS Class 21 Golf on reaching this significant achievement in their careers. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we will dine plated buffet style. The tables have been numbered, so as we call your number, your tables may proceed through the line. Please wait for your tables to be called before you head to the back of the line. If you order a vegetarian meal, please ask the caterers for your meal, as it will not be laid out on the table. Change of plans. We will not be getting together.
Matt, you're up.
ALS is not an easy course to pass. 24 academic days, 169 curriculum hours, a significant amount of homework and additional preparation can make this a challenging obstacle on the road to becoming an NCO and supervisor. Some members of this class not only met the requirements to graduate, but exceeded the minimums and earned additional distinction as award recipients. We would like to recognize those individuals at this time. As we do so, please feel free to show some unit pride. Our first award is the Academic Achievement Award. Today's award is presented by Technical Sergeant Michael Bennett. The Academic Achievement Award denotes excellence as a scholar. It is presented to the student who achieved the highest academic standing of the curriculum and is exclusive of the John L. Levito Award. The Academic Extraordinaire and winner of the Academic Achievement Award for Class 21 Golf is from the 3rd Combat Weather Squadron, Senior Airman Brad A. Smith. The Dyess 5-6 supports ALS by presenting tonight's award winner with a 1-year membership. Thank you, Technical Sergeant Benz, and congratulations, Senior Airman Schmidt. Our next award is the Commandant's Award. Today's award is presented by Master Sergeant Kyle Gibson. The Commandant's Award is presented to the student who demonstrated superior leadership throughout the class. From each flight, a nominee emerges. Nominees, please stand as your name is called. Lancer Flight's nominee, from the 7th Bomb Wing, Senior Airman Dylan D. Davis. Her Flight's nominee, from the 7th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Randall W. Hancock. Thank you, nominees. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant Award winner for Class 21 Golf is from the 7th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Randall W. Hancock. The Air Force Association Untitled Chapter supports ALS by presenting tonight's award winner with a one-year AFA membership. Thank you, Master Sergeant Gibson, and congratulations, Staff Sergeant Hancock. Students who excel in both leadership and academics earn positions in the top 10% of the class. Those students are awarded the Distinguished Graduate Award. Today's award is presented by Master Sergeant Destiny Gaydon from the 7th Force Support Squadron. She represents the Dyess First Sergeant. Today we recognize two distinguished graduates. Our first distinguished graduate is from the 3rd Weather Squadron, Fort Hood, Texas, Senior Airman Trayvon J. Haynes. Our second distinguished graduate is from the 7th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Randall W. Hancock.
He is awesome! He's great!
Let's try to help. I got you. One team, one fight.
You can see the triangle of losers right here, by the way. I don't know.
The Dyess 5-6 supports ALS by presenting tonight's award winners with a one-year membership. Thank you, Master Sergeant Gaydon, and congratulations to our distinguished graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, our most distinguished award presentation is the John L. Levito Award. The John L. Levito Award is the highest award a graduate at any level of enlisted professional military education can receive. It is presented to the most outstanding student in the class. The Levito Award recipient is not eligible to receive the Academic or Commandant Award. Today's award is sponsored and presented by the 7th Civil Engineering Squadron Superintendent and Chiefs Group President, Chief Master Sergeant Stephen Boosley.
And President Day!
The John L. Levito Award recipient for Class 21 Golf is from the 7th Bomb Wing, Senior Airman Dylan D. Davies. The Dyess 5-6 supports ALS by presenting tonight's award winner with a 1-year membership. Winning the Levito Award is quite an accomplishment. In addition to the individual's pride, their name will also be displayed on the Levito plaque. The plaques you see displayed here tonight are the ones that will be located in the ALS hallway, giving future students something to strive for. Congratulations again, Senior Airman Dyess. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we will dine plated buffet style. The tables have been numbered, so as we call your number, your tables may proceed through the line. Please wait for your tables to be called before you head to the back of the line. If you order a vegetarian meal, please ask the caterers for your meal, as it will not be laid out on this table. After everyone is finished with their meal, we will take a small break before we continue with the second half of the ceremony. During dinner, the students have produced a slideshow highlighting their time in ALS, which will be shown for your viewing pleasure. Without further delay, it's time to eat. Enjoy your meal. Will tables 1, 2, 3, and 4 please begin the line to the buffet? Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank Josh Allen and the Joe Allen staff for catering this event. We would also like to thank the Armed Forces Reserve Center personnel for allowing us to utilize their venue to celebrate our graduates' accomplishments. If you have not finished your meal, please continue to do so. The second half of our program will begin in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Countdown to game time.
This guy Kickoff is like 5 minutes, right? I'm not watching it yet. I mean, I'm so rude, I can't. If you're not going to find a bigger fan of Tom Brady than this guy. They have it, girl. Watching that game. And he told Matt that too. Football game kicking off like in 5 minutes, so I mean, he just Tampa Bay and Eagles. So if he just wants to thank everyone and say, hey, good job, go out there and do great things, he's going to say ditto.
You should hear, we need to tell Renee about Tom Brady gave us his couch. Come on.
About what?
This is a neat fact.
This is really cool, I didn't know that.
So the Patriots and Eagles are playing tonight.
Okay.
Did you know Tom Brady 2 days ago? Now, what the Patriots are doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are finished with your meal, please so Thank you.
You know later on you're going to tell Alan that. He's going to be like, you know, he's going to be like, no. She knows. I don't think she does. I know she's exhausted. But if I'm telling jokes, I'm good with it. that look for?
Okay, what's the joke about?
It's not a joke.
No.
It's not a joke. Back in Buccaneers, playing Tom Brady and the Eagles. We got a football game. We gotta get out of here. It's Tom Brady. I gotta see his debut tonight. He had something. He's gonna debut tonight. That he's gonna like showcase what he got. So 2 days ago, he got his ears pierced. Tom Brady did. I think it's his whole new thing, his whole look, and he's got to take all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not the most amazing thing. Like, it's not like, why is it everybody doing this? There's so much done. I think that was probably most of how much it costs. You know how much you pay to get those ears pierced? Fucking ears. A Buccaneer, Alan. Can you believe that? Lord!
That's about 75 cents. That's about 75 cents more than I pay for that joke.
Hey, but you pay for it.
Oh, goodness.
Yep. Now, you are welcome to go and not tell others that joke. You're welcome. No, I'm all about spreading joy, and if I can use others to do that, I don't want to hold them up. That's Missouri joy for you. That's Texas joy. Yeah. Maybe I'll find more like the Cowboys or something like that to get more of a reaction. Because most people right here are like, we don't care about the Buccaneers. But
ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please find your seats as we begin.
Stands over a hot stove. She does. It's very good.
heavy on the floor because we try to stretch it out. When you come back, it'll be heavy meat next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Master Sergeant Kyle Gibson of the ALS Commandant. I'd like to introduce tonight's guest speaker, Command Chief Master Sergeant Matt Coltran. Chief Master Sergeant Coltran is the Command Chief for the 7th Bomb Wing, Dyess Air Force Base, Texas. As the wing's senior enlisted leader, he is the primary advisor to the commander on matters concerning morale, welfare, training, professional development, career progression, and the effective utilization of the base's enlisted force. Additionally, he supports the generation of combat-ready B-1B Lancer aircraft, crews, and associated combat support for global engagement taskings. Chief Coltran entered the Air Force in June of 2002. His background includes various maintenance roles supporting the F-15, F-35, B-2, and various electronic warfare systems. He has also served as a military training instructor, first sergeant, and air advisor. Chief Coltran has deployed in support of multiple contingency operations overseas, including at Camp Taji Joint Operations Base, Iraq. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Master Sergeant Coltran.
So first off, thank you, Colonel Young, Chief Umfleet, and thank you, Colonel Kramer, my wingman. Thanks for coming tonight. The honorary command chief, Judy Farmer, thank you so much for being here, and her awesome husband, Alan.
Clap for Judy.
Another special guest I'd like to introduce tonight, the youngest and lowest ranking airman in attendance tonight, who's coming here to support their wingman, A1C Paloma Blackwell from the 7th AMXS. Yeah, baby! lieutenant that I am trying my best to mentor. You're the command chief, you don't have a whole lot of troops, so you work on the commander's support staff. And so Lieutenant Katie Cashin, this is her first ALS, so thanks for coming tonight. And if you ever get a chance to speak at something, you got to make sure you invite a couple of your hype men and your hype women in case you start sucking real bad, right? So number one, I've got a couple teammates who support me through thick and thin, through better for worse, and that's Stephanie Walker, that is Jeremy Clark, and is Steve Edmonds, and Chief Esom. And I'll tell you, thank you for coming. Those two knew they were coming. Those two didn't know they were coming, and specifically to their wives, Dawn and Jamie, who figured out last night they were coming to a formal with less than 24 hours. Thank you for coming here.
Hell yeah!
Hey, and last but not least, my beautiful wife, my wingman for life, the woman that I love more than the entire world, who makes my life worth living. Renee, love you. Thanks for coming tonight. And the rest of you yahoos, commanders, fellow chiefs, first sergeants, supervisors, family and friends, welcome. But most importantly, to our guest of honor tonight, the students of Class 21 Golf. Congratulations on completing the first of many milestones in your life. So in celebration of this momentous occasion, I am certain that there is nowhere else you'd rather be in big country tonight, or more excited than be here in this room celebrating this night with all the old dudes and dudettes in your squadron. And so I want to tell you, thank you for choosing to be here. You know, it's been almost 2 decades to the day when I was in your very shoes graduating Airman Leadership School. I remember a lot of things about that special day. First, I had a throbbing headache from attending the Orion Beer Festival the night before. Number two, you're right. Temperature by Sean Paul was the jam of the day. And most importantly, I remember how excited I was to finally be able to sew on those doggone prestigious Staff Sergeant stripes. But of all the things that I do remember, I don't have a clue who the guest speaker was, and I surely don't remember a darn thing that person had to say. So in acknowledging that fact, my promise to you tonight is this, that my speech is going to be very similar to mini skirts in downtown Abilene. Long enough to cover the important subjects, but short enough to keep your attention. All right. Airman Leadership School is the foundation for all other professional military education. These airmen arrive to ALS as subject matter experts and technicians within their career fields. And tonight, they're going to leave as frontline supervisors. Leaders who are ready to develop their subordinates. Because of that, I want to personally thank Master Sergeant Kyle Gibson, Tech Sergeant Michael Benz, and Staff Sergeant Dylan Freeman. What this cadre accomplished over such a short period of time is nothing short of amazing. So, thank you. All right, for the past 5 weeks, Class 21 Golf has learned about the profession of arms, building effective communication, and most importantly, developing their leadership abilities. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Not China, not COVID, not the 4-bit MANA or the MGAs or the illicit evaluation system. Because tonight, you're going to become supervisors, leaders, and soon, if not already, non-commissioned officers. So what does this mean? It means that your airmen, your supervisors, and your commanders are going to expect more from you. In class, you learned about leadership. You learned about different styles and which ones you should use depending on the situation and the people involved. You sat through classes titled Ethical Leadership, Leader Influence, Team Leader, and my personal favorite, Emergent Leadership Issues. You know, it sounds so emergent, it might seem complicated, but to be honest, it's not. To be a good leader, it's not hard, but it's definitely something that you have to continuously work at. And also, if you believe that you've arrived, that you've mastered being a leader, I guarantee you that you haven't. So tonight, I'd like to share with you 7 simple leadership principles that I value in practice. Why 7, do you ask? Is this the magical number? No. It is a lucky number, but like most of you, you've been at these type of functions and heard way too many top 10 speeches, and we all know that everyone loses interest after number 7. So here we go. Number 1. Leaders make their own coffee. While our military ancestors believed that rank has its privileges, current leaders realize they are first and foremost servants. A great carpenter once said it best, anyone wanting to be the leader must first be the servant. If you want to lead, you must serve. Leaders show their humanity and their humility by doing the seemingly menial tasks that nobody else thinks they have time for. They shred their own papers, they take out their own trash, and yes, they make their own coffee. And if they're really doggone good, they find time to bring a cup to the defender at the gate, or the maintainer on the flight line, the medic in the pod, or the operator in the tower. It's not about you anymore. It's about them. Number 2. Leaders realize leading is not necessarily about what they want, but what their airmen need and the mission requires. I asked a mentor of mine prior to sewing on chief and becoming a new senior enlisted leader of a squadron, what should I do first? Should I immediately have a senior NCO call and lay out my expectations? Should I come in with a hammer? Or should I pass out lookies and chewies and give out hugs like Senior Master Sergeant Rogers does in months? And what Chief Wild Bill Crawford told me is that I should spend some time figuring out what the squadron needed from me versus the other way around. Essentially, he taught me the founding basis of servant leadership, which is not about delegating one's authority, but it's prioritizing the ambitions of the team and the subordinates over those of the leader. So remember, leaders realize leading is not necessarily about what they want, but it's what their airmen need and the mission requires. Number 3, leaders make the hard calls. In the timeless words of the notorious B.I.G., it's like, the more money we come across, the more problems we see. And in solving these problems, leaders choose the more difficult and honorable path instead of the easy wrong one. As leaders, you will be called upon often to make hard calls. Good old Honest Abe, our 16th president, summed it up perfectly when he said, put your feet in the right place and stand firm. If you feel strongly about something, albeit not the popular decision at the time, don't be afraid to go against the crowd. The Air Force gave you your stripes to make the tough calls, so wear them on your sleeves where they belong and not on your bottom to protect your butt. You see, the Air Force is not a job. It's a profession. And you will be expected to do things for the greater good, and doing unpopular things is sometimes a part of that devotion. All right, we're halfway there. We good? Yeah! Can we keep going? Yeah. All right. Let's go, baby! You just entered the hype woman circle. Thank you. All right, here we go. Number 4. Leaders train their replacements. They build their legacy through others. General Wilbur Creech once said, the first responsibility of a leader is to create more leaders. Now, you've all heard that knowledge is power, and I don't disagree, but as a leader, you must share that knowledge. Whether we're talking about young airmen who work together in the same shop, a staff sergeant who's supervising an airman for the first time, or a 4-star general who's bringing a brand new wing commander into the fold. If you want to be great, you have to start by being great for your people. Grow them, remove obstacles, and facilitate their successes. We all have experiences that can help our fellow airmen perform better today and build better leaders tomorrow. To paraphrase our former Air Force Chief of Staff, General Welch, leaders leave their fingerprints on people, not organizations. So number 5, leaders understand rank is what you are, not who you are. Now, I would never suggest that we abandon our customs and courtesies because it's the respect and professionalism of our team that has made us the greatest Air Force the world has ever known. But leaders do not solely or primarily rely on their position, title, or rank to garner respect from their teams. Simply put, rank should not be your go-to every time. Leadership is action. It's the way you make others feel. It's the sacred trust shared between the leader and the subordinate, and it's only earned with credibility, humility, and selflessness. Leaders say, let's go, not you go, and follow me, not follow them. Leaders are so confident, so smart, and so beloved that they have no problem admitting their shortcomings or failures or mistakes when others choose to quibble, make excuses, or point the finger. Now, don't get me wrong. If a subordinate ever wants to get sideways and challenge you, don't be afraid to pull out the old knife hands. But if your people don't want to follow you, you are not leading jack squat. You are simply keeping the seat warm for the next guy. Number 6, leaders take time to sharpen their axe. Here's the story. 2 lumberjacks go in the woods to see who can bring down the most lumber. One chops without stopping, while the other one takes a 10-minute break every hour. When they finish and compare their lumber piles, they determine the second man has chopped down the most lumber. The first man asks, well, hey man, how'd you do that? He was apparently from where Double D's from back home. And the second answered, I wasn't taking a break. I was sharpening my axe. The moral of the story is that leading effectively requires us to commit time each day to take a step back and keep our professional and personal axes sharp. In practice, this means different things for different people. Great outdoors for one person, weightlifting for another. Some of you are probably asking, hey Chief, what do you do to sharpen your axe? I'll tell you, a long run always hits the spot, but also a Hendrix and tonic while watching the world champion New Orleans Saints does the job as well. Who that?
We don't know.
Nobody.
All right. Thank you. So bottom line, if you're not keeping your axe sharp, it's going to quickly become dull. Like we hear all the time Colonel Kramer say, service before self, not service in spite of self. All right, finally, drum roll. All right, number 7. Number 7. And if you've ignored or completely forgotten the last 6 things, please just remember this. Leaders must know their people. You'll earn more respect in 2 hours becoming genuinely interested in your airmen than you will in 2 years trying to get them interested in you. Without knowing your people, you won't know how they want to grow and develop. You won't know what motivates them or what problems they have. Now, some of you will only have 1 or 2 airmen, and some of you may have 5, 6, or 7. And we all know that time is an extremely valuable resource. And yes, it takes time to get to know your people. But trust me, no book, no professional development course, and yes, hard to believe, no guest speaker can make you a better leader if you do not know your people. Well, that's it. You know, I'd like to take credit for everything that I told you tonight and go on to write a best-selling book on the 7 steps of successful leaders, but I can't. You see, great leaders taught me these things along with a whole lot So Class 21 Golf, I challenge you to start leading, continue to learn to be a better leader, and keep fighting the good fight. I'll leave you with one more quote from the great John Quincy Adams that sums up what being a true leader is all about. And that's, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you, my friend, are a leader. God bless the U.S. military. God bless Team Dyess. God bless 21 Golf. Black Cross is out. Hallelujah.
We have now come to the peak of our ceremony and the reason we are all here. The presentation of the diplomas. Class 21 Golf, prepare to graduate. This evening's graduates have met the requirements to assume greater responsibility and leadership within our Air Force. They are prepared to face the distinct challenges that await them. Another PME tradition is to support your graduating students and sound off with some unit pride. Introducing Staff Sergeant Freeman's Lancer Flight, it is my pleasure to announce his newest graduates, beginning with the flight leader. From the 7th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Brandon M. Nordenstrom. From the 317th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Sean D. Ballesteros. From the 7th Force Support Squadron, Senior Airman Justin N. Vidal. From the 7th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Alberto Godinez, Jr. From the 7th Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Eric M. Hines. From the 317th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Christopher Max L. Jack. From the 7th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jacob W. King. From the 7th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Max A. Levine. Medical Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashley S. Martinez.
You catch up! We get!
From the 9th Bomb Squadron, Senior Airman Eric W. Lasky.
Sweet ball!
From the 317th Maintenance Group, Senior Airman Diego R. Riggins. From the 317th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Joshua T. Robinson. From the 7th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Iris Z. Rogers.
Mission support!
From the 3rd Combat Weather Squadron, Fort Hood, Texas, and tonight's Academic Award recipient, Senior Airman Brad H. Bigg. From the 3rd Combat Weather Squadron, Fort Hood, Texas, Senior Airman Earl D. Taylor, Jr. Introducing Technical Sergeant Ben's Perk Flight. It is my pleasure to announce his newest graduates, beginning with the flight leader. From the 7th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Carla Rocha.
Without support! Mission support!
From the 39th Airlift Squadron, Senior Airman Young O. Achuka. From the 7th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Tyler S. Brewer. From the 3rd Combat Weather Squadron, Fort Hood, Texas, and tonight's distinguished graduate recipient, Senior Airman Trayvon J. Payne. From the 7th Equipment Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Julio C. Castillo Mejia Maldonado.
You don't get to graduate. Hold me down. Don't let him hold you down. Somebody thinks you can walk. Fix it after. Just smile. Close up there.
From the 7th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Joseph E. Rindle. From the 7th Security Forces Squadron and tonight's Commandant and Distinguished Graduate Recipient, Staff Sergeant Randall W. Hancock. From the 7th Bomb Wing, Senior Airman Tejana L. Knight. From the 40th Airlift Squadron, Senior Airman Daniel J. O'Neill. From the 7th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Cale J. Richard. From the 7th Force Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Samuel G. Rodriguez. From the 7th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Rashawn R. Thomas. From the 317th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Caleb A. Tovar. From the 7th Munition Squadron, Senior Airman Joseph R. Varga. From the 7th Force Support Squadron, Senior Airman Alex E. Westbury. From the 7th Civil Engineering Squadron, Staff Sergeant Lawrence R. Woodard. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the Airman Leadership School Diploma to the Levito Award recipient signifies the culmination of 5 weeks of intense education and training. From the 7th Bomb Wing, Senior Airman Dylan D. Davies.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Young.
So things I've learned tonight: 1, do not bury plumlets on the blocks. 2, I'm not sure if this is a high school or a prison or what. It's a nice facility. It's also nice to see the Army is working on their motto. Who went to the men's room? Every stall. Army's new motto: attempt flush every time. First we had Be All You Could Be, then it was Army of One, now it's Army Strong, and coming soon to an Army near you, flush every time. That's how it works out. It's appropriate. It's action. I also want to say that, in all sincerity, the 2 speakers that preceded me are 2 of the best speakers I've heard at any event of late, frankly, much less an ALS graduation. And I think they're a tough act to follow, and I'd like to start strong by giving them another round. Okay, so you're going to get the commander's take on this, or the old dude's take, or whatever. So first off, let me say congratulations to all of you. We face a lot of challenges as a nation, as a Defense Department, and especially as an Air Force. And you are all now an active part of the solution, if you did not already consider yourself so. As of tomorrow, when you return to your units, you are officially part of them, us, the Air Force. And they say a lot of things. They get a lot of things wrong, apparently. They expect a lot of things. Embrace the fact that you are now they, them, us. Fight for clarification and feedback when you need it or when you're not getting it. Fight for your airmen. Fight for situational awareness and knowledge of operational and strategic guidance. Make sure you complain up the chain, not down. And if you can, wrap those complaints in packaging called constructive feedback, or what I like to call loyal dissent. Know that you are empowered and that all positive change starts with you. Or if it doesn't start with you, it damn sure well finishes with you, because you're the ones that are going to see it to fruition. You all have far more years ahead of you in the Air Force than Colonel Kramer or I do. So, I'll again try to be brief here because I've been reminded that I am between you and football. But this starts right now. Last month started my 4th year in a row in command, which also starts my 4th year in a row of attending ALS graduations every other month. I am now more convinced of your importance in our Air Force and in your key role as change leaders, culture creators, playmakers, and honors brokers than I have ever been before. Air Force senior leaders, and when I say senior, I'm not talking about wing commanders or group commanders or colonels or chiefs. I'm talking about general officers who are decision makers and we walk in the wake of their turbulence. When addressing our many challenges, spend the majority of their time referencing 2 critical groups. Who are these 2 groups? In terms of who we're going to take care of, in terms of who's going to do the taking care of those individuals, airmen families?
Supervisors.
That's right. Commanders and or command teams, and front line supervisors. This magical, mythical beast. You've all just turned into it. Freaking unicorns. Frontline supervisors. So now, not only are you expected to be technical experts as rising NCOs capable of handling our toughest operational problems, in case you hadn't got the memo, you're also expected to help us tackle a wide range of other wicked problems that the Air Force is staring down. Resilience, readiness, suicide, sexual harassment, sexual assault, diversity, equity, and inclusivity, etc., etc., etc. Which is great that you got exhaustive blocks on all of that in ALS, right? Became counselors, got masters in critical race theory or whatever, right? No, we don't spend a lot of, we invest in you, but you're by no means experts, nor are your commanders. That's a lot to put on your shoulders, especially considering that we don't fully prepare you for these roles. And we haven't done so yet in your relatively short time in the Air Force. So what we have given you at ALS is some focused education, where your real training, I'll submit to you, your on-the-job training, starts tomorrow when you hit your units. That's where the real leadership laboratory is. And to that end, you will have an unending parade of subordinates who will test your leadership skills and present you with ever-creative disciplinary problems. I promise. You'll also have a world of senior NCOs and commanders and other trusted advisors who are willing to help you out there. At the end of the day, this mythical frontline supervisor, for me, is analogous to frontline leader. And in the coming weeks, we're going to need you to step up and be courageous leaders. Maybe not the leaders you were born to be, or born as. Maybe not the leaders you have been to date, but the leaders your squadron, your group, your wing needs you to be. Who's ever heard the saying that the Air Force doesn't care about you? Anybody ever heard anybody rattle out, the Air Force doesn't care about you? That's probably because the Air Force is a nameless, soulless bureaucracy. It's not like this is some family business that the family's been running along. Hi, I'm Greg Air Force. My granddad, Gary Air Force, started this business. I go by a different name. I go by Greg Young. I kind of want to make it on my own steam, but annually the board gets together and decides where you all are moving and what your job opportunities are going to be, and your interests are at heart for us. No, there is no Air Force. It's a bunch of lines in budget and U.S. Title 10 code as well. So people that say that are right. The Air Force doesn't care about you. It can't. It's people and individual leaders that constitute the Air Force that make up, that's what makes the difference. So when I say you are now part of us, you are now them, you are now the Air Force, you have to embrace that. Because as a leader in the Air Force, your actions and your inactions matter. And the airmen that you fail to support, or coach, or mentor, or discipline today, tomorrow will turn into a disgruntled civilian or a disgruntled and disaffected airman. And when his or her story is told, it doesn't come out like this. Well, back in 2021, Staff Sergeant General screwed me, or Staff Sergeant Davis really took care of my family and that made all the difference for us, or Staff Sergeant Stevens got me this incredible opportunity and it set me off on this career path. No, later, 5 years from now, that turns into the Air Force screwed me. It doesn't take care of airmen. Later it turns into, let me tell you about how the Air Force took care of my family. Eventually that'll be shaped into, the Air Force changed my life for the better, and here's how. But that starts with you. Not some amorphous Air Force, and definitely not the Gary Air Force. It's passed on now. So you are now they. You're now us. You are the Air Force. So what you do now, then, your actions, your inactions, your decisions, your oversights, can echo through generations. Remember that on your OCPs you have two names. One is the name your parents gave you. The other name, U.S. Air Force, is the one you chose. So please leverage your spirit of influence when you step out of here going forward. Own your battle space, for our time here is short, and there is oh so much to do. As the poet said, and I carry this around in my notebook so that I can remind myself, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute. But eternity is in it. This is your time. This is our time. Maximize your minute.
Thank you, Colonel Young. At this time, we would also like to give special thanks to our Public Affairs Support Team, Senior Airman Rovello, and Staff Sergeant Oisama. Thank you, Staff Sergeant Rocha. As mentioned earlier, history is an important part of not only Airman Leadership School and professional military education, but of the Air Force.
I am an American airman.
I am a warrior. I answer my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, guarding freedom and justice, my nation's sword and shield, its century of adventure. I defend my country with my life. I am an American airman, wingman, leader, warrior. I will never leave anyone behind. I will never falter, and I will not back.
Off we go.
Into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. At a voice, give them the gun. Give them the gun! Hey! Now we rise, fighting the flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame and we're down in flames. Hey! Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
When our nation calls,
Get back from hell!
Please join me in applauding our Air Force's newest leaders. Once again, on behalf of the ALS staff in Class of 21 Golf, thank you for attending tonight's ceremony and enjoy the rest of your evening.